Yo, what is poppin', my guys? It is your boy Ashley, and I am here today with our Week 2 matchup for the IBA D2. Now, we are playing TexasManGaming in the Dallas Decidueyes, which I'm super excited about. I like this league a lot. I really like my team in this league. It's got some Pokemon I'm familiar with using, as well as some ones that I'm really excited to use. And we're already 1-0, and I mean, it wasn't, between you and I, we all know it wasn't the prettiest week 1 win. But you know what? We got right back on that horse, and we're going to try and win again in week 2. And probably by doing it a little cleaner this time, hopefully. So let's talk a little bit about the team we brought today. As you can see, TexasManGaming decided to bring Darmanitan, Gigalith, Stoutland, Suicune, Scizor, Mega Scizor, and Thunderous Eye, which is a very solid team. I like that team. And we brought our Gliscor. This is Toxic World Poison Heal. This has 200 EVs, 200 defense EVs, max HP, and 56 special defense. I cannot remember exactly why I went with that specific defensive spread, but I think it just hit some benchmarks. Like, it was just enough special defense to live the off HP ice, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I cannot remember. But it has U-Turn, Stealth Rock, Roost, and Earthquake. I wanted to use U-Turn is to give Pokemon like Charizard an opportunity to come in. Looking at his team, I knew his Mega Scizor would be a big part of his plan, and I assumed that if I could get him to come in on my Gligar, that I could get a free U-Turn, as long as he doesn't U-Turn, into my Charizard X. And considering the Gliscor is slower, I'll always have the slower U-turn. So if he does U-turn, I can just U-turn into a counter to whatever he switches into. And if he doesn't, I can go ahead and switch right to Zard and force him to switch into possibly a Suicune or set up a Dragon Dance if he's slacking on his prediction plays. So that is exactly why I brought this particular Gliscor. Earthquake for a nice stab move to have. It hits Gigalith, it hits Darmanitan. Yeah, just a nice move to have. Stealth Rock to force the Scizor to defog. He doesn't have that many defog options on his team, so looking at it, I figured this Scizor would be his defogger. And Roost to keep that health up with combined with the Toxic Orb makes this one really bulky mon. So next up, we have our Charizard X. I love this Pokemon. It is Dragon Dance, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, and Flare Blitz. So that boy is dangerous. Basically, yeah, Thunder Punch hits Suicune, Earthquake hits everything, basically, except for Thunderous, and it can't stand up to a Flare Blitz. So, yeah, this is 36 in speed, so that I could outspeed I think he has a Superior, so I wanted to outspeed his a timid Superior after a Dragon Dance. So I ran 36 speed EVs and have 252 attack, adamant nature, with 220 HP. So next we have our boy Goofy Glasses, the Vikavolt. This was a nice little pivot mon I wanted to bring because as you can see, he doesn't really have a nice strong ground type, so I figured a nice pivot mon would always be beneficial, especially since he has Suicune. That is definitely a Pokemon that it can be very scary if you don't have a strong electric type. So doesn't get much stronger than 145 base special attack. This boy has a Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Ice, which looking at his team was not that great of a bring. I think I would have gotten him a lot more mileage out of something like HP Ground or HP Fire. Because HP Ice pretty much only hits the Thunderous, and it's very frail. It can't really take a Thunderbolt. I didn't calculate or anything, but I don't think it could. But yeah, and I wanted to be able to roost. I didn't want to choice lock this boy. I wanted to be able to roost up on Pokemon that he thinks are a free switch and things like that. So yeah, not really much about that boy. He's max HP, max special attack with 4 in special defense because I wanted the slowest Volt Switch possible. I mean, I didn't go neutral speed nature. I went modest, but yeah, I wanted to be very slow. I wanted that slow Volt Switch. So next we have Andros. This is our Cryogonal. Has an Assault Vest. Obviously, its ability is Levitate. It gets Freeze Dry for the Suicune and the Thunderous. It gets Rapid Spin to keep hazards off of my side of the field, seeing as Vikavolt and Charizard both do not like rocks. I brought Frost Breath because he has Comfy, and no, I don't know. I can't. He had some Pokemon that I was worried would start setting up. So I wanted, because Frost Breath is always a critical hit, so it might only be 60 base power, but when something gets up 2 Calm Minds, that's going to help. It's going to tear through. We also have Knockoff, which I thought was a nice little move if I'm forcing the switch. Like, for example, if he switches into his Darmanitan on the anticipated ice move, and I go for the Knockoff and remove that Choice Scarf, well, that's really good, because a Choice Scarf Darmanitan, you know, once the Tentacruel and the Gliscor were out of the way, could pretty much shred through this entire team. Next up, and that's just, it's got 216 in speed to outspeed Superior, 40, I think. But Superior was the benchmark for a lot of these speed Pokemon that I needed to be fast. And then it's a 252 special attack with 40 in HP, modest nature. Next up, we have Snooty Boost of Virizion. This is Life Orb Justified with Swords Dance, Leaf Blade, Close Combat, and Stone Edge. I am running enough speed to outspeed Superior. I think it's 164 with a timid nature. 252 in attack, 92 in HP. This bad boy can put in some work. That Darmanitan is definitely a problem, but with a +2 close combat, everything on that side of the field is gone, except for probably that Thunderous. But I can hit Stone Edge on that boy, and you can even hit Leaf Blade on that Gigalith or that Suicune. That Suicune cannot take a +2 Leaf Blade from Virizion. There's just no way, especially since we're guaranteed to be faster. So really like this Virizion set. Virizion's a really cool Pokemon, and I like when it has a good matchup and I can bring it and hopefully get some kills with it. Next up, finally, we have Red Dot Music, our Tentacruel. This is Black Sludge with Liquid Ooze. It has Scald, Ice Beam, T-Spikes, and Haze. So he had a Nidoqueen, but I feel like his Nidoqueen didn't match up very well against my team, and I felt like Cryogonal could do some work in taking away that Nidoqueen and luring it out and keeping its hazards off the field. So I decided to bring T-Spikes, and it worked out because he obviously does not have anything that's going to soak those T-Spikes up. So that's the general goal with Tentacruels, to get some T-Spikes up, throw some Scalds off, throw some Ice Beams at that Thunderous if we can, and haze away any stab boosts they get. So, you know, that's been a lot of talking. It's been about 7 minutes of going over the team. Why don't we just jump right into this game and see where it takes us. So he's going to lead Rock the House, which is the Gigalith, and I'm going to lead my Tentacruel because I like the idea of getting up these Toxic Spikes early and getting them up with confidence. Always have to try and do things with confidence in Pokemon. So I throw out these Toxic Spikes. He's just going to switch out into his Scizor. Sorry, my computer's running a little slow right now. I just closed some programs, so hopefully it'll help. I had Showdown open to read, so hopefully that'll help being closed. So we're going to switch out as we anticipate he defogs right into our Charizard X. So he is going to go ahead and defog here, which, by the way, Scizor has such a cool Mega. I really like how big the hands get. They look really intimidating, and the little mask it wears is tight as well. So anyway, I anticipate a switch here, so I'm just going to switch straight out into my Gliscor, I'm fairly certain. Yes, because I want to get that Toxic Orb activated, and I know that there's nothing that Scizor can do to me. And he is actually going to switch out into his Suicune, which is not the match I ideally want. I know these Suicunes can definitely pack Ice Beam, and an Ice Beam from a Suicune will absolutely destroy this Gliscor, even with my minimal special defense investment. So I decide to switch right out into my Cryogonal, and he, anticipating the switch, goes ahead and sets up the Calm Mind. Oh, never mind. He does not set up the Calm Mind. He switches into his Stoutland. Sorry about that, y'all. So this Stoutland has Sand Rush. It's obviously going to be twice as fast, and he is going to surround himself with Z Power and lay down the Breakneck Blitz, which is only going to do about half to my Gliscor because the sand is up and my defenses are boosted because of that. So my Poison Heal is going to bring me back up to 65%. As I think I just roost here. I don't see why I wouldn't. He's going to go for the Iron Head, trying to flinch me, which I get, I guess. I mean, there's always the that he doesn't need to take advantage of these sand turns, and I've made it clear that I can roost stall him if he's using return. You see here that only does 30%, and I can just roost that off, although I go ahead and go for the Stealth Rock because I want those up. The Stealth Rock damage is definitely going to help my sweepers sweep because, you know, there's always going to be a Mon, I think, in the way. Any way this slices up, I think there's going to be a Mon in the way for one of my Mons, whether that be something like a full health Scizor for Virizion, or even though it can't really do much to it, still just in the way of like roost walling it. Then things like Suicune for the Charizard X, because we don't have, well, I think we have Thunder Punch. I can't even remember. We've already gone so long from talking about it, but I'm gonna go into my Charizard and do up the Dragon Dance as he switches out. So I went onto my calcs right here and I typed Earthquake, and I saw how much it did to this Gigalith, and it was a roll. I think it was a roll that was 75% in my favor. So I'm like, you know what? I'm about to smash this Earthquake button. Let's see what we can do. Let's get this party started. And we get the critical hit and rip out this Gigalith. So that is the first Pokemon down, and Charizard X is going to go ahead and start putting this team on his back. He's at 82%. He's +1/+1, and nothing on this team outspeeds him. So looking at the calcs, I know that there's nothing he can use to kill me with if he's Scarfed. Every single move that he has, I live with my spread if he is max attack adamant, because of my HP, because of my tons of HP investment. So I tank that Earthquake and fire off one of my own and take out Darmanitan. So now we've got 2 Pokemon down that would put a little bit of a dent in Virizion sweeping. Like that Darmanitan is very scary for Virizion. And so since we're faster, I'm just going to go ahead and Flare Blitz and take this man out, because I figured that there was no use in preserving this thing. It was going to go down anyway. So you might as well get that Flare Blitz off. It was going to go down to the sand. So might as well go out in style, kill myself so he doesn't get the kill. No, I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't my intention with that. But I see that the sand is still up, so I know that he's about to go into his Stoutland, because he's now his Sand Setter is dead. If he wants to do anything with this Stoutland, he has to do it right now, because otherwise there's just no chance. He has to do it. So he's just going to start firing off these returns, and I'm just going to keep roosting it off and firing off Earthquakes, because I don't see a reason not to. They're doing a good 39.9%, 40%, while I'm just healing back up naturally with Poison Heal. So I don't really have a reason to stop doing it. And he starts going for the Iron Head, which is definitely, you know, a valid play. It's not like he's Serene Grace or anything. We all know how that goes. But it's pretty much the only way he can take advantage of these sand turns right now, is to get me to a point where I have to roost and he can switch into his Suicune and start trying to set up. Because otherwise I can completely outstall this. I can roost up and start firing off Earthquakes on this Scizor if I want, or I can make a switch into any of my other Pokemon that are still alive that I want to sack and go into my Virizion and set up the Swords Dance sweep. So instead he goes right into Suicune here, and I know what this thing does, so I'm just going to start Earthquaking while it tries to set up, because you see that there does 25% damage. I can just keep firing those off, because yeah, he might Ice Beam and kill me. Never mind, I switched. Sorry, this game just happened a little bit ago, but I'm already forgetting what happened. I'm going to go ahead in my Cryogonal as he starts setting up the Calm Mind. This is what I was thinking of earlier, guys. I'm so sorry. He starts setting up the Calm Mind, and I'm like, okay, so Frost Breath isn't really going to do anything to this, so I just need to start hitting Freeze Tries. So that does a good little bit, that good little chunk with one. So then he gets 2 up, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to be a nightmare. So I decide I think he's going to attack me first right here, and I am Assault Vest, so I know I'll live. I'm going to go for the knockoff, get rid of these leftovers, because once the leftovers are gone, I can at least start chipping it down a little bit and trying to outlast it with things that are faster and, you know, yada 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 blah blah blah. But here I go for Freeze Dry and get the crit. So that's our second really nice crit this game, which is super cool, because now we are sitting at 5-2, and I'm feeling pretty good. Even though our main Scizor counter is gone, I feel like it really can't live up or take down anything that I've got going on currently. I'm just going to switch right back into my Gliscor, as it's proven to just absolutely dominate this Stoutland. I mean, Stoutland gets Ice Fang, you know, and he obviously didn't have it because I just kind of hung out and did whatever I wanted. So here I'm going to U-turn, expecting him to switch into his Mega Scizor, or I think I might actually Earthquake. Yeah, there we go. Our Earthquake, get another crit, putting him down at 33%, which is again absolutely crazy. We're getting crits out the wazoo, and I'm just going to switch right here into Virizion as he goes for the Sword Dance. So nothing he can do, even at +2, is going to put any sort of dent whatsoever in this Virizion. I'm faster than him. I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a close combat. It does like 45% man or something like that. Knock out the Mega Scizor. Out comes the Stoutland, which is slower than Mega Scizor. I'm fairly certain it's going to take the rocks damage and go down to 24%. It is super effective, this close combat. And I guess as you can tell, we go ahead, click that button, and win the game 5-0, going 2-0 in the IBA D2. So that's really cool. I was super excited about this game. I really liked my matchup and my prep and everything, and it went really well. Big shout out to all the dudes from the MLP server that helped me front office a little bit now that we have our little team building chat going on. It was definitely nice to get some input on things like my cryogonal set and some of the things I didn't use, like the Frost Breath. I think I definitely didn't use, but it was a cool tech and I'm glad I brought it just in case. But anyway, great game to TexasManGaming. I did get some pretty unfortunate crits throughout the thing for you. Like I felt like I played very well, and I felt like I definitely won the game. Like, I was very confident in my play, and I'm really happy with how I played overall. But it definitely would have been a more interesting game if I hadn't gotten some of those key crits, like on the Gigalith or on the Suicune. That Suicune setting up was going to be a huge problem, especially if it was rest. That would have been a huge problem. But anyway, thank you all for coming by and watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all the bullshit, you know how it goes. And I will see you guys hopefully next week. We have our UBLN week 1 coming up, so look forward to that.